I just need good afternoon. I just need a few minutes.
Good afternoon.
I have to go to PDF. How's everything? Good. How's the preparation going on? Okay, okay. How many hours you are studying? Yesterday I completed maybe 5 hours. 5 hours. Including classes or excluding? Including classes. Okay. It's okay. Your health is fine. What about you, Saptarishi?
Yes, ma'am. My studies are going as usual.
Hmm.
Nothing has changed that much. Yes.
As usual, in which sense should I take it? Should I take it in a positive way or negative? As usual.
Well, I I mean, I think it is positive in a positive way. I think it is in positive sense.
Okay. Okay. So today we are going to understand about development and social progress. This is a topic of socio-political philosophy, right? And we are going to understand what philosophy talks about it and how it explains it, right? Okay. Who will explain me what is development according to you? Changes in a positive manner. Okay. Saptarishi?
Development is like a growth. It can be through financial growth as well as it can be political growth. It can be uh, uh, social growth. Everything is included. I mean, inclusive or inclusive growth of everything. It that is development. It can be sustainable as well as it actually looks toward a future also. Everything is very much emphasized on and the growth, inclusive growth that we can see in our society. That is development.
So according to you, development is sustainable,
Yes.
and you have mentioned positive and negative development. Can development be negative?
Um, if we think deeply, it can be in certain senses.
Okay. In which senses it can be negative?
Okay, because development can be in many ways. Like if we see some political development or communal development, I mean, the idea that one idea is supreme, one ideology is supreme, another is weakens. So in this case, this is a development. This is also a kind of development, ideological development that is negative because it actually harms the society and it actually breaks the society in many parts.
What is development? You want me to switch on the AC? I'll be back. Good. Okay. So when we talk about development, it means what? It means improvement in people's life. What else we can say about development? What else is coming in your mind? Okay. Hmm. Changes, growth, better life. All this is what development, right? If a village is getting school, if a village is getting hospitals, right? So all this is what, that village is developing, right? But if only a big factory comes and people are still poor and healthy, then can we call it development? If, for example, industries are setting up in that village but people are still poor, will we call it development?
It is a partial development because it is the development of our industrial sector, but it is not development of our human resources. So in a sense, it is a partial development, not a holistic development.
Okay, okay. Now there is another concept that we have to understand about economic growth. So we'll be discussing all this in more detail. Okay. So when we talk about economic growth, right, it's basically rising. Is it equal to progress?
Uh, Actually, it depends on whose economic growth we are talking about. If we are just talking about, let's say, for example, our GDP is increasing, it is true, and in this case, our in our India, our economic growth is there. I mean, our GDP is growing, but if we look at the per capita income, it is not that good. So, in a sense, we can say that our India is not holistically progressing. It is certain sectors are very much progressing, but few areas are not progressing as such. So, it actually depends on whose economic growth we are talking about to talk
Oh,
about progress.
okay. When we talk about economic, we are talking about GDP, we are talking about income, right? We are talking about that kind of production, which is going to lead these two, right? But when we talk about progress, what's come in our mind? Okay, good. Livelihood. We are talking about where? We are talking about human life here. So can we say that progress is much bigger concept than this economic growth? Can we say that?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? For example, there is a country A, and that country is basically with high GDP, right? and but that country have like poor health, does not have good infrastructure, right, and is lacking with like resources, right, and crime is happening there, pollution is happening there, right. But then we have country B, right, and in this country B we have medium GDP. Everything is poor here, but when we talk about this country B, right, infrastructure is good, schools, resources, everything is present over here, right. So economic growth can be equal to social progress.
Not always.
Not always. Economic growth is not always equal to social progress. Understood? Did you understand? Yeah. Okay. So when exactly this real progress happened? So this real progress happened when people are happy, when they have equity, equality, when they have freedom, right, then this progress happens. Got it? Now we have different thinkers who said about you know this development thing. When we talk about Marx, what did Marx say? He says that development should remove exploitation, right, because Marx is the one who fought for like workers and who basically told about their rights, about their justice, right. So if rich becomes richer and poor remains poor, right, is this real progress? No, this is what Marx says, right. After this we have Amartya Sen. Now what Amartya says, basically she says that basically he says that development is never equal to expansion of capabilities, right. We are never capable, right, if we are basically moving towards development. Can we say that we are capable? Development is an sorry, development is equal to expansion of capabilities. Can we say this, that if we are moving with development, so we are expanding our capabilities also? Saptarishi?
Yes, ma'am. In a sense, yes.
Development is equals to expansion of capabilities. What is expansion of capabilities? Saptarishi, what is expansion of capabilities?
Expansion of capabilities is like individual development of human beings. Like they are
Exactly.
individual.
The way
Their
we want to live.
capabilities are.
Exactly. So this means the way we want to live our life, right? So can we say that development is equals to expansion of capabilities? Right.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
there any way we can contradict this? But we are talking about development here, not partial or full development. Development. It can, right. So it is like if we are having freedom to study, we have freedom to speak, freedom to choose whatever religion we want, right. So is this going to lead towards the capabilities, expansion of capabilities? Yes, it will, right. Imagine there is a girl who have like all the choices. She can go to school, she can build her career, she can choose whenever she wants to get married or she wants to get married or not. So all these decisions are taken by girl, right. So this development? Yes, this is development, right. After this, what did Mahatma Gandhi says? What did he say?
He talked about rural development and which actually leads to the holistic development of the whole country. He talks about rising from the bottom. He talked about bottom to top approach of development, I think.
Okay, so there is one important understanding of Mahatma Gandhi. So when we talk about him, he said real progress is basically simple living and it is moral life, right. So what did he say? He talked about villagers, that you should basically rely on yourself, you have to build yourself, right, and you should be strong. Self reliance was basically told to the villagers by Mahatma Gandhi, right. And he also talked about the moral society, right. Understood? So this was said by
Yes.
whom? Mahatma Gandhi, right. Now let's understand what is the goal of the society. So when we talk about this, when we talk about philosophy, so philosophy asks the question that what kind of society do we want? What kind of society do we want? Hmm. Exactly. Hmm. Yes. What kind of society do we want?
We want a society which has inclusive growth. Everyone is included in this holistic approach of everyone's welfare. Expansion of capabilities should be there of every individuals, and
Hmm.
there should be development from the bottom to up, not only the wealthier section, but everyone. Everyone should be equal in their regarding their opportunity to get resources and all that.
Exactly. So what do we want? We want welfare society. Kim, what is welfare society? Where? Okay, welfare is basically when we are talking about development of education, of healthcare, right? Good resources, right? We are talking about employment, right? We are talking about betterment of the society, welfare of the society, right? So this is known as welfare society, right? After this, we should have like justice-based society. Imagine you have like introduced the concept of justice, right? Introduce the concept of morality, right? And living in peace, but still there are some conflicts going on, right? So you should like, society should be arranged in a way where justice could be served without taking decisions impartially, right? So this is why we always take, when it comes to justice, we always take name of John Rawls. What was his theory? Ever heard of him?
On roles.
Saptarishi, don't tell me that you forgot him.
No, I remember it.
What was his theory?
His theory was, I think, he actually gave three, I think, uh, law rules. I think,
Okay.
just
So when we talk about John
regarding
Rawls,
justice.
what did he say? He said that justice system be so well organized that even the poorest people should have access to it. This was the simple theory that he gave about justice. Understood? So when we talk about justice, John Rawls always should come in your mind, right? After this, moral and ethical society should be there. Who will explain this? Kim. Very easy. We should focus on compassion, we should focus on non-violence, we should focus on stability, not hurting each other, living peacefully, unity. So John Rawls says we should, make that kind of justice system in society that is access to each and every one with equally, right? Even the poorest person should have access to that justice system, right? Even he should get the justice. That kind of justice we should focus on. Got it? Hmm. Hmm. What happened, ma'am? Where is your stuff? You need our time. Take time. Yes. The question was, what was the question? Moral and ethical. What is moral and ethical society? Okay. Who will explain this first? Kim. Hmm. But that question should be loud. Capabilities, huh? एक तो I'm not able to hear you. And other than that, these people will not be able to hear you. It's better you hold that mic. Okay, you can speak.
Village is really developed,
Hmm.
but in some cases, the tradition is passed on where like the girl has to be there at age
14, 13,
yeah, and not
early age.
so like in that even though there's development there, it doesn't explain the
Exactly. So development, for example, so I've explained you now here. I've written what is development, what is progress, where people are happy, where people have equality, where they are like moving with freedom, right? So that's progress. As I explained you, the starting phase was this only. Putting resources, this example, industrial setup is there, right? But does it always mean that it is like access to the development? No, right? So development comes from inside, it comes individually, right? It also talks about happiness, also about freedom, also about equality also, right? It's not always materialistic development we are talking about. Understood?
in some here it's
Hmm.
so like women, children doesn't have like voice.
Exactly. I'm sure that even you have like listened that Western culture is much more developed, right? Are we lacking with resources? Are we talking about resources? No, but still there is a word develop in there, right? So this is what development we are talking about. Anything else?
I'm just not able to remember all of the philosophers because you have
This is why you have to open your notebook and write down the philosopher
right now.
and exactly when I'm dictating you, write down the philosopher's name and in front of it write down short keywords so that you can remember it. And when I tell you that you have to say it, so that you can say it. Yes. And if you're thinking that you won't be able to manage with the speed, the way I speak, okay, fast,
I'm not even
so giving you a solution, you'll adapt it. Soon you'll adapt it. Don't worry about it. Okay, understood till here. Any questions? As you said, for me, something could be called as development, but for you it could not be, right? Imagine from a tribal community, right? And I have like home in my forest, but you are clearing that project, you are clearing that forest for this reason because you want to do the development, right? But it will not be called as development for me, right? So that won't be development for me, right? What will be development for me? If I'll have a good hut, if I'll have good resources, minimum resources which can keep me survive. So these kinds of development are like the definition, right? But you have different definition of development. Got it? Okay. So when we talk about India, India has like fast economic growth, right? India is like digitally developed. Industries are there, but still it is challenging with poverty, unemployment, malnutrition, gender inequality, right? So India is developing economically, but still working towards social progress. Understood the difference between
India's
social progress and development?
India's
Yes, Bache?
human development India's human development index is very less. I mean, India's rank is low. Is the problem.
Exactly. So true development is not only about increasing in income, right? But it is like creation of justice. It is about freeness also, and it is about dignified life also, right? Even if this all is like measured, right, then only we can have development. Understood? Who will explain? Kim. Whatever you can remember.
so development means changes, growth, and um, growth,
Loud,
improvement,
back straight, fast.
improvement in individual's life, in the society, in the state, in the country. It can so development can be positive or negative depending on the individual. And economic growth doesn't always lead to process progress. So it doesn't always lead to a great progress. And yeah, start.
Oh, do you also have a problem with holding?
No, no, I can speak. And development is all about changes in the
I
society.
cannot hear you.
Development is all about the changes in the society in a positive or in a negative manner. It is sustainable. Development is sustainable sometimes, and sometimes it's not. Improvement in people's life leads to development of a society. But economic growth doesn't mean the equal. Economic growth is not equal to the progress, because progress is about the good life, and economic is always in a monetary term. And economic growth can lead to be in a partial way, but progress is always in a equal manner. When there is a progress in the society, then the people's livelihood is in a better way. They get better education, better health, and they are free to live their life in their own way. As Mahatma Gandhi says that according to him, the development of the society is begin from the village, from the grassroots level. And he says that a simple life and the morality is the base of the development. And Amartya Sen says that development is a expansion of capability. Like if there is a development in a society, it leads to a better life to the people of that society. And development leads to the progress and happiness to the society.
Okay. Saptarishi, quickly, bache.
Yes, ma'am. So we are talking about development and the social progress. In this case, we can see that economic growth doesn't actually always is equal to the social progress. I couldn't talk about like economic growth can be expressed through our GDP, our growth in economic sectors and all that. But the real progress is through the holistic development of the human resources, as well as uh, it actually involves happiness. It involves education. It involves livelihood. It involves pollution and all that. So everything is linked. Health, everything is linked to this progress. And in case of India, we can see rapid economic growth, but in reality, there is limited holistic progress in human lives in India. Then we are talking about various philosophers in this, like Marx. Marx talk about for Marx, development was the equal growth of every section of the society. That was the real development where everyone have equal rights according to uh, their situation, and this is the holistic development that he is talking about. Then we are talking about Amartya Sen. Amartya Sen was the India's first Nobel laureate in the field of economics, and he said that development is the expansion of capabilities of human resources. So in this case, we are talking about that if capabilities of individual levels actually improves, then only we can see a holistic development in our nation. Um then we are talking about Mahatma Gandhi, who actually said that the purest or the simplest uh, living life is the actual development, where development begins from simple life, like in rural life and all that, and ultimately he talks about development from bottom to top, where uh, we are going from rural life and then to the actual development of the nation. Then we are talking about so in development we are following some certain characteristics like welfare state, like justice based society, and as well as morality, as well as ethical values. In this case, we are talking about John Rawls, the American moral, legal, and political philosopher. He said that for him, he gave a theory of justice which proposes justice as fairness for a well-ordered society, and he talks about liberty as well as equality through certain principles chosen from his vial of ignorance. Uh, so yes, this is the idea of John Lawrence, and this is how we can describe development as well as social progress.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's come to another idea, that is basic idea of development. So development is improvement in human life. So when we talk about development, as we have discussed, so we always think we are talking about industries, we are talking about money, right? We are talking about GDP, about finance. But it is economic development, the one sector of development. right? Not development, not complete development, right? So when we talk about development, it is improvement in human life, right? So philosophy asks the questions that is development always about money? Then the answer comes up no. Development is more than that, right? So it's like that, will only money make us happy, right? So these kinds of questions what philosophy asks us, right? That growth always reduce inequality, right? That if we will have, did you understand this, that growth is going to create inequality? This kind of question philosophy asks, that does growth always increase inequality? What it means, for example, industries are there, so there are going to be workers also, there is going to be hierarchical positions also, right? So if this position is there, so somewhere this hierarchy means division of power, and when we have division of power, is this creating inequality in the
Yes.
society, right? And that's exactly what we see in urban cities also, right? So this is what philosophy asks, did you understand? So this is what basically philosophy asks, that does growth always and always increase in inequality, right? So another question, does development give respect and dignify or not, right? So when we talk about development in terms of philosophy, improvement in the quality of human life, it is not just money we are talking about. We are talking about dignity, we are talking about education, we are talking about freedom, we are talking about better life, we are talking about happiness in here, right? So GDP growth is not always equals to human development, right? Very important to understand this. Development is not got it, understood?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what is real development? Sustainable and what is inclusive?
Which includes all the category of society.
Inclusive is
Means the development which tackle all the categories of society, which includes every sector.
Okay, understood till here, each and everything?
What's the conclusion of that question? Does growth always increase inequality? Yes.
Huh?
It does.
This is the question that philosophy asks. The answer always varies. Okay? If I'm a businessman, right, I'll say no. But you being philosopher, you'll say yes. Right? You'll have your reasons, I'll have mine.
What we will write
To this answer, according to you being a philosophy student, you'll say yes. And then you'll write the reasons also. Okay, now what is social progress? What is social progress?
Social progress is like
in manner and having a good health, happiness. And
So when we talk about, okay, when we talk about development, we understood that it's not about money, right? But majority of development is about money. When we try to explain development, we explain it through this concept only, right? Then what is progress? Can we say that this is moral and social improvement? Can we say this? Right? So, Saptarishi, did you understand what I?
yes, sir.
So, social progress is equals to what? Society becoming morally better and more just, right? Morally better and more just. Got it? Now, social progress also means society becoming more just, discrimination is reducing, women are getting more chances, more women are getting more freedom, right? Minorities are finally safe, they have all the resources equally, right? There is a like concept of justice also, right? And basically, poverty and suffering is reduced, right? Because equal amount of resources are basically distributed, right? People live with respect and dignity. This is known as what? This is known as progress, right? Now, when we talk about philosophy, so philosophy has the question: has society become morally better or not? Who will answer this? Is it better morally? In some cases, what cases?
Women are getting chance to speak and there is a abolition of I think that many women
If that's not happening, if sati pratha is not happening, but the murder is happening, what did change?
but Surgical was mandatory in every family. If their husband is that, then they have to perform.
Hmm.
Now it's not even mandatory, it's abolished completely. So
Hmm.
murder is something different from Surgical.
Hmm.
It was it was mandatory for all the women.
Hmm.
Murder is a case where they are taking their revenge
Hmm. Okay. Hmm.
and where before in ancient time there was a rule for the women that they cannot give, they are not allowed to study, they are not allowed to get married according to their choice.
Hmm.
But in today's life,
Hmm.
the life of the women are become better
Hmm.
than before, and some patriarchal thinking are also improving now.
Hmm.
Like, all the responsibility of family is not all fully on the men's only.
Hmm.
The women are also coming in the area they are able to handle the family monitoring in a monetary term as well.
Okay.
So we can say that.
Okay. Okay, makes sense. Kim, do you want to say something to this? If I'll put a question mark, she'll always say no. And when I'll say Kim say something, and then she'll hold the mic. Saptarishi, do you want to
Yes.
say something?
Okay, so I can say that social progress is morally right in this regard. I mean, if a society is progressing inclusively, or let's say everyone is getting same equal opportunity to uh, express their capabilities and get what they deserve, then it is morally correct.
Okay. Now let's understand features of progress. First is what? Justice. That everyone should have access of justice, and it should be like equally distributed, right? There should be no discrimination between rich and between poor, right? So no caste discrimination should be there, right? Apart from this idea is supported by who? John Rawls. What else? What feature we could have apart from this justice?
Freedom, equality.
Equality, good. So when we talk about equality, we are talking about rich also, we are talking about poor also, we are talking about men, women, right? So there should be no division of section when it comes to equality, right? It should be like given to each and every one of us, right? After this, another thing is freedom. We should have will, we should speak properly as we want to, we can choose whatever religion we want to, right? No institution, no authority should stop us from this, right? Can choose our career, live the way we want to, right? After this, there is one important part, that is protecting minorities. Who will explain this? Who will explain?
Right?
Exactly. So those people who are small in numbers and who are weak, and that they need what? They need protection. Right? So we should not use them. We should not force them to do something that they don't want to. Right? For example, legal protection for tribal communities should be there. Right? And rights for all religious minorities should also be there. So tribal communities.
This topic is not included in equality.
Which one?
We are talking about the feature, the feature of equality. If we are talking about equality, it also includes.
It includes them also. When we talk about equality, so it includes each and every section of the society. Right? Distribution of the resources, when it comes to rules and regulations, when it comes to even punishment also. So equality should be there, distributed to each and everyone in an equal manner. Got it? Then fifth part is reduction of poverty. What is this telling to us?
Progress should always reduce the poverty in society.
Progress will reduce, but we need reduction of poverty in progress. Like basic needs of like food should be there, that should be fulfilled, right? Resources should be there, right? And healthcare, education, so these things should be there, right? After this it talks about dignity. What is dignity? Okay, Saptrishi.
Dignity is like treating everyone equally, like as a certain some individual actually treating someone as he wishes to be treated as. So in a sense, everyone is equal, as treated as humans, and having equal natural rights. That is the dignity.
Under which article this dignity comes? This comes under article 21, that is right to life and liberty.
Right to life.
Understood? Got it? Okay. So what human dignity says, that everyone should be like respected properly, right? Even poor, disabled, right? There should be like no division, no hierarchy based things, right? So now we are going to understand Karl Marx, what Karl Marx says about. Now let's understand what Marx says. So Marx says that a society is progressive only when class exploitation will end. So workers should get their proper rights, right? And what Mahatma Gandhi says? Same thing. We should move with moral progress. If every individual will be morally correct, right? So in society we will not see any violence. Will work with more compassionate, right? And will respect each and every one, right? If all these features are basically given by an individual, then society will become balanced, right? So this is what Mahatma Gandhi says. Understood till here? Who will go first?
Development is not only about development of money. It's also about individual progress. Progress means the moral and social development of the society, which become more. The society must be more independent and more religious. There are different features of progress, and like there are justice. Justice is access to everyone. It should be equal to everyone, which is supported by John Rawls theory. And the second feature is equality. Equality among all the members of the society, either they are rich or poor, they are women, general category or like CST, OBC, or all the members of the society are treated to be equal. And the third feature of progress is freedom, like freedom of will. The way we want to live, we are able to live. And the fourth feature of the progress is protection of minorities.
people who are less in number and are not able to protect themselves, the progress is in the way that it supports them, it protects their life, their dignity. And the fifth feature is reduction of poverty. Like there should be a good life. They are able to access basic food, basic necessity. And the sixth feature is dignity. Dignity means they are treated the way they want to be treated, and they have a right to life and their liberty. And according to Marx, he says that society will progress only when the class exploitation is ending. And Mahatma Gandhi says, as well said that morality, if the moral progress in the society, if the moral development in the society, then that society will become the progress. Is your flat okay? Is your sister okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Social progress, when we say social progress, it means
Voice.
and social improvement in the society. It has different features.
Why you have such low voice?
It has different features.
Still the same.
The first one is
It's just that you are like sitting straight now, and the voice is still there. Okay.
justice. When we say justice, it usually means it should be every individual should have the equal access to justice, and equality it means no division among the individuals. Freedom.
Among the individuals, how they'll have inequality, equality in among the individuals, among people.
Division of people. Freedom means like freedom to their rights
Mm-hmm. And stuff.
and protecting minorities, which means to protect the minorities from being taken advantage of.
You stopped using this word, na? Stuff.
Yeah,
Now only I do that. Okay.
reduction of poverty means to give basic necessities to the underprivileged and need. Dignity means respect, giving respect to each and every individual.
Perfect. Thinkers done?
Karl Marx, according to Karl Marx,
I still cannot hear you.
according to Karl Marx, social progress only happens when there is no class exploitation. And according to Mahatma Gandhi, um, social progress can only be done through
Moral values. Okay. Saptarishi, quickly, bache.
Yes, ma'am. In this case, we are talking about social progress. Social progress is like when society actually experiences inclusive growth as well as uh, justice and equality as well as liberty in a inclusive sense. It actually includes education, it includes health, it includes gender justice, it includes human rights, it includes happiness and all that. So everything is included in this social progress, and social progress is not always equal to economic growth. In this case, we are talking about various features of uh, social progress, that is like protecting minorities. In this case, in India, we can see many minor minority community there minor communities are there, and as a nation to actually progress inclusively, we need to protect these minorities from exploitation and all that. So yes, this is a way. Then there is uh, reduction of poverty. We can see that poverty is a big issue in the way of development, because ultimately poverty leads to many problems in developing as well as developed nations and all that, because ultimately poverty actually directly links to unemployment and all that. So to actually uh, to have poverty reduced, we need to address the issue of employment as well as skill development and all that. So yes, social progress is very much linked to this idea. Then there is a dignity. Every human should be respected as yes, people actually want to be respected as. So this is actually explained in our constitution in Article 21, where it is talked about the right to life. It has been said. These are some features of social progress, how it can be done. And then we are talking about philosophers in this, like Karl Marx, who talked that social progress can only happen when there is no class exploitation. If this class gap or economical gap in a society reduces, then only this problem uh, can be addressed, as well as social progress can happen. So this is the idea of Karl Marx, and Mahatma Gandhi actually said that if we can morally progress, then only society can progress as well. So this is two views of two different uh, individuals like Karl Marx and Mahatma Gandhi.
Okay. Now,
No,
uh,
class exploitation,
uh,
is it like the discrimination?
that's what he said. He said discrimination about workers and between the owners, right? So that's what he wanted. He wanted balance between them. Okay. Now coming to next slide, it says enlightenment and progress. Now, when we talk about enlightenment, this is a movement which basically was started in 15th century, 18th century. So in this movement, what happened? People started asking questions more deeply, right? As before, what was happening? Whatever was basically done in the society, we were naming it after religion. But in this movement, people started questioning, right? They basically started using logic. They started focusing on science, right? So people were moving towards what? Towards, kind of reasoning, kind of science, where we can have answers more logically, right? With proofs and with truth, right? So this is the movement that was started in 18th century, right? Now, when we talk about this, so they believe that human beings are what? They are rational. What does it mean, Kim? That humans are rational beings? Saptarishi, what does it mean when we say that humans are rational beings?
Uh, Humans are rational because humans can reason, human can analyze, humans can understand. They
Hmm.
can understand any situation and uh, uh, according to
Exactly.
decide their
Hmm.
actions. So
Hmm.
they have decision making capabilities.
Exactly. So what it means, rational beings means that they can, think more reasonably, right? With knowledge, with correct knowledge, right? So this is what these people were saying, that human beings are what? Rational beings they are, right? Now, after this, that, there was like more beliefs in this enlightenment thinkers, right? Why? Because they were believing in power of human reasons, right? Why? Because they are what? They are what? Rational beings, right? So they also believe that, it's very important to move with science education, right? It is very important to understand that freedom from monarchy and church control is very much important, right? So that's exactly what these people were trying to do, right? Because the control was of what? Control was of state, right? So they wanted to move away from church control, and they wanted to move away from state, right? So that's what their fight was about, right? Now, after this, we have one important thinker. His name is Marquis. Heard about him?
No.
Okay. When we talk about him, what did he say? He said that human history is a story of continuous progress. Now, if he is talking about continuous progress, who said the same thing, Saptarishi? Who talked
Hegel
about continuous progress?
Hegel
Exactly. What did
talk,
Hegel say? What did Hegel say?
he talked about thesis, antithesis, and conflicts that actually creates a synthesis or a new knowledge through this. He talked
So
about.
Hegel somewhere reflects his theory, right? So what did Marcos says? That it is very important that we have this continuous progress, right? Now, when we talk about progress, it is not always smooth line will have conflicts also, will have, revolution on the stake of violence also, right? So somewhere, not directly, but somewhere they, justified, violence also, right? And this is like the history. We are like reading history. This we have seen, right? We have like seen, we have understood that violence is going to happen and violence is going to bring revolution. Yes, there are like cost of people that we are losing, but then again, revolution is happening at the cost of blood only, right? So basically, he believed that science will remove ignorance, right? Education will remove morality, improve morality, right? And society will, become more equal here, right? So he focused on what? He focused on science. He focused on education and about society. Understood what he was trying to say? What
Yes.
Marcus was saying? Kim, understood? Now, after this, we are going to understand about Kant. Now, what Kant was telling to us, Kant says that enlightenment means dare to know. Dare to know. What it means that, basically we have to understand that you have to use your own reasoning, right? Instead of following any tradition blindly without asking questions, you have to basically ask what? Questions. And you have to use what? Reasoning. This is what Kant says. Understood? After this, we have Adam Smith. What did Adam Smith says? Adam Smith basically talks about free markets, about self-interest, and about economic progress, right? So he believed that economic growth will increase wealth of nations, right? So this will improve what? People's life, right? So this is what Adam Smith says, that economic growth will bring progress. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So what was the idea that these enlightenment thinkers were believing? This means that past, which is ignorant, which is full of ignorance, which is full of superstitions, right? Present, we are improving present, right? And future, we have to make future better, we have to make future rational, and we have to make future free. And how that will happen? When we'll start thinking logically, when we'll start thinking reasonably, right? And when we'll start use science in it, right? So we do not have to believe in superstitious things. We do not have to believe in religious like blindly without questioning, without reasoning, right? So this is what all these philosophers who started this movement, enlightened movement, were basically talking about progress in that manner, in that sense. Got it? Understood? So earlier, what was happening? Kings were ruling, right? And people had no rights but to follow them, right? So now, what we are talking about, these enlightenment people, these are basically talking about democracy. These are talking about freedom. These are talking about rights and educations, right? So future will have what? Future will have more equality. Future will have more freedom, and future will have more happiness. Okay. Now, Saptarishi, you explain what is enlightenment, and you explain that what we have read in this, and you explain the thinkers. Yes, Saptarishi, quickly.
Yes, ma'am. So enlightenment is like a concept that was very much developed in 18th century Europe, where the thinkers actually believed in science as well as logic and reason, where they promoted rational thinking as well as critical understanding of the situation as well as the society and the uh, nations that everyone is aware inclusivity of the society. It
Hmm.
actually, in this case, we are talking about how history actually moves forward regarding how we are actually approaching the conflicts as well as the changes that happens in the society, and it actually talks about rationality in the society, and it talks about knowledge. It talks about uh, uh, various thinkers who are actually talking about this. So this is the basic idea of enlightenment and how it actually uh, approached progress, social progress at that time.
Okay, good. Kim, quickly,
Enlightenment,
loud.
enlightenment, what is enlightenment? The question, to reason, to use logic and science for a better understanding. Human beings are rational beings, so we are capable of thinking reasonably through knowledge, so that the society can improve through using the rational thinking. It means to not believe blindly in the like the past superstitions, and to use rational thinking to
Scientific thinking, more practical thinking, reasonable thinking, knowledge of people.
Marcus has told
Their
that
voice.
Marcus has explained that human history is all about continuous progress. According to him, we need to focus on science and education, society, because education brings morality, science brings reasoning. So instead of following blindly the rituals, the traditions, we need to must focus on science. And Kant says about enlightenment that enlightenment is means dare to know, means dare to ask the question to the tradition, to the kings and to the church, to know about the rituals which they are following blindly. We need to dare to ask them question what's the logic behind it. And Adam Smith has said that economic growth will bring the progress. He means to say that if the society is economically growing, it will lead to give the progress to the society as well.
Okay. Now let's understand criticism of enlightenment. What do you think the criticism these people might have got? So basically, when World War happened, right? So this belief, belief of enlightenment that we have to think rationally, we have to think scientifically, right? So this was destroyed. Why? Because in 20th century, World War One happened, World War Two happened, right? Atomic bombs were basically made, right? So science was used for destruction. As these enlightenment people were basically focusing that science can be used in thinking rationally in a progressive manner. But in 20th century, what happened? In 20th century, we move with World War, right? So what happened? Because of this misuse of science was seen. So opposite of what they were saying about science, right? So this is the first criticism that we have, right? Nuclear weapons are basically made, right? We saw that huge human suffering was there, right? So people realized that science is not always good. Science is not always good. So this is the first criticism that we got from enlightenment. Got it? Now, after this, what happened? Progress that they were talking. So second criticism that we got is progress is not automatic. Arya, what it means? So as enlightenment were saying that society will naturally become better, right? But reality is what did they believe? That we are going to naturally progress, we are going to move toward it like naturally, right? By using logic, by using science, right? By using understanding the truth, we can move naturally with moral values, right? But even in today, in 2026, we are seeing inequality, right? We are seeing that how people are using science in wrong manner, right? We are seeing that criticism is still happening, right? We are seeing that poverty is basically still the major issue that we are facing in this world, right? So progress is going to need efforts, it is going to need ethics, and it is going to need justice. So the concept of enlightenment that this progress is automatic, this was also false. Got it, Ara?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what enlightenment says that if you will move with science, if you will move with reasonings, and no, this basically progress is automatic, right? If individually will basically analyze all these things and will not move with superstitious, then you don't have to worry about it. But the criticism came out that progress is not automatic. How? Even in today's time, when we are like covered with gadget, we are talking about AI, we are like even like I'm comparing it with today's example, we are covered with so many examples, right? We are still seeing inequality in this earth, right? We are still seeing poverty is still existing among us, right? Justice is still not there. So this concept that progress is automatic, this was false, that was given to us by enlightenment. Got it? Okay. Okay. After this, there is one more thing. Development can create new problem. Why? How? Exactly. So we can see that modern progress is there, right? It's created as these enlightenment movement wanted, right? We have created that, right? We are moving with reasoning, we are moving with facts, we have science also, and we are like developing, we are moving with a generation that is known as AI, right? So this progress is created. But what we are seeing environmental destruction, right? We are seeing climate change. And after this, we are seeing one major problem that is existing among us, that is stress and alienation, right? So this concept of their enlightenment, that development can like create, basically it will give us solution, right? So this was also came out to be the criticism. Got it? This was also criticized, right? So it's very true that enlightenment basically gave very hopeful idea to us, right? Moving with science, moving with logic. But then again, looking at today's time, even in 2025, we can say that all these things can be criticized, right? So progress is not all about science. We have to move with like more ethical way manner. We have to move with justice also, and by looking and basically understanding our scenarios also, right? So it is not like we have to rely completely on science and facts, right? So somewhere what this slide is trying to tell us, that sometimes it's okay to move with like spiritual values also. Got it? Okay. um Kim, you हाँ बच्चे?
These thinkers are against the religion.
No, they were not against the religion. What they are telling to us, that you have to basically question all the superstitions that this world is coming up with, right? Don't follow anything blindly, right? If you are basically believing in God, believe on that, right? They were not against religion. They were not against anything. They were just saying use logic, use science, and basically analyze things properly. Got it? Okay. So now so I hope that you understood what enlightenment is, what basically these people were saying, and how they are like criticized in today's time, right? Got it? Understood? Anything that you want me to ask? Anything?
I think like last time we learned about quality stuff.
Equality and stuff.
Pakistan.
Pakistan and
I think it was like
Bangladesh.
no. But we compare Pakistan and
Hmm.
democracy.
Hmm.
I was thinking before the criticisms that
Hmm.
doing something like
Voice.
using things logically doesn't always mean it's
That's very true. If we are like moving with science, if we are like moving with like facts, so it doesn't mean that we are moving with like ethically wrong also. That's very true. Very true. Makes sense. Very good. Okay, can you give me an example of this? If you can think of any, otherwise it's okay. Okay. So now let's move with other thing, important part, that is development in capitalism. What is capitalism? I think we left one slide. What is capitalism? What else? Okay. Free market. Hmm. What else? What else? Can we call this privatism? Okay. What else is coming in your mind when you are listening, hearing, reading this word, privatism? Okay. When we talk about capitalism, this is an economic system where we are talking about businesses where they are owned by private individuals, right? So market are going to decide prices and the production, right? So main aim is what? Main aim is only one thing, that is profit. So this is known as what? This is capitalism we are talking about, right? Now, when we talk about capitalist development, so what this is, first of all, this is free market. What is free market? So here we are discussing about buyers and sellers, right? They are going to decide prices freely, right? So they are going to decide the prices freely, right? After this, government can interference, right? Their interference is not that much, right? They can interfere in, but their involvement is what? Their involvement is limited, right? So this is the first feature that we have of free market, right? After this, we have private property. What is private property? Exactly. So they can own land, factories, businesses, right? So it's their land, right? It's the individual people we are talking about, right? Other thing that we important is profit is basically the only motive they have. And after this, competition. Because when we talk about, public sector, what do we focus on? Social welfare. But when we talk about private, what do we focus on? On profit, on money, right? So money, basically, these companies basically focus on competition with each other, right? For example, different brands of cars, right? These are like product sales also, right? So they focus on what? They focuses on prices, right? Okay. After this, when we talk about thinkers, we have like different thinkers who support this capitalist development, right? For example, we have Adam Smith. Now, when we talk about Adam Smith, what Adam Smith says, he basically said that when individuals work for their own benefit, right, it also benefits the society, right? So individual benefit is going to lead towards what? Betterment for the society, right? Although this is debatable, if we like talk about this, we'll discuss about it, we can criticize him very easily, right? So this is known as invisible hand. This theory of his known as invisible hand. We'll have the discussion of this in the coming class. Okay? So here what we are focusing on, we are focusing on self-interest, right? So this is going to, if we understand it properly, self-interest is there. This is going to increase production. And if this is going to increase production, what will happen? Economic growth will there. And if economic growth is there, so this means what? Society is getting benefit out of it, right? So this is the theory that Adam basically comes up with. Got it? What he was trying to say, right? So when we talk about, positive side of capitalist, so we are basically talking about fast economic growth. That is very good, right? After this, innovation and new technology is happening. Another good important part. More jobs and production will be there. After this, better consumer choices will be there, right? So for example, technology revolution, AI, right? AI summit just recently happened, right? So this is telling us about the economic growth, right? People are going to invest, people are going to see internationally, we are going to, upgrade ourselves. People are, looking at us, that how we are building ourselves, right? So when we talk about problems, what problems do we have? First of all, important thing, that is inequality. How come we are facing this inequality?
The rich person are becoming more richer.
Exactly, richer is becoming more richer, poor is becoming more poor, right? So inequality is happening because of it, right? After this, exploitation of workers. How?
Can we put that theory of that hierarchy creates inequality?
This one, in this, you can put the example of Karl Marx, no? Yes, you can put that one also, the one you are saying. Karl Marx, right? So after this, what do we have? We have consumerism. What is consumerism? So capitalism is basically creating habit of buying more and more things, right? So people started thinking that, what happiness is? Happiness is buying more products. Nowadays, we are covered with like apps like, Blinkit, which can like serve us products in like seconds and minutes, right? So this is known as consumerism, right? We are thinking, overconsumption, right? We even buy those things which we are not in required of, but we still buy it. Why? Because in this world, in this time, we think that even buying thing is called as happiness, right? And we somewhere is linking it to the materialistic things, right? So the consumerism is another criticism that we have, right? After this, another important part which can be like linked to this consumerism only, that is loss of human value. Right? We are like so much involved in ourselves, right? We are focusing so much on profit that we lost human value, right? Even today you have seen like your parents working so hard, right, that they sometimes cannot give time to their children, although like the reason will come out that they are doing for them, for you people only. But then again, we are so much diverted, we are so much included in this concept of profit that we have like lost the values of humans. Understood till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Another important pointer, the criticism that we have is environmental damage. So what exactly is happening? We are like seeing news that, to earn profit, industries are polluting environment, they are cutting trees, they are exploiting natural resources, right? They are cutting down the forest. So these tribal communities are also facing problems, right? So these things are basically seen when we talk about development. So this is the criticism that we have of capitalism. Got it? Understood?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so this is it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. What's time? Yes, I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.